They've been taking to the streets in major cities and gathering at university campuses across the country, calling for an end to lockdowns and greater political freedoms. This is something that rarely happens in China, but a deadly fire last week in Urumqi, in Xinjian region, was the catalyst for an outpouring of public anger. Many say COVID lockdowns hampered rescue efforts, but the government says otherwise. Large crowds gathered in Beijing and the economic hub of Shanghai, where police clashed with protesters. Hundreds held blank sheets of paper and flowers in what appeared to be a silent protest. China's strict control of information and travel curbs means it's hard to verify how many protesters are active across the country. But such rallies are exceptionally rare. This is a level of dissent not seen since pro-democracy rallies were crushed in 1989.
It is very different, still very different from 1989, because in 1989, when students are protesting, that there's clear sign that the party leadership is divided. This time, we don't see any sign of division in the party leaderships, and still seem to be in absolute control.
The protests have been fueled by frustration at the central government's zero-COVID policy, which sees authorities imposing snap lockdowns, quarantines and mass testing campaigns. Beijing has defended the policy as life-saving and necessary. These are students at Beijing's Tsinghua University protesting against the COVID measures, while the central city of Wuhan, where the pandemic began 3 years ago, saw people breaking down metal fences and overturning COVID testing tents. Reports of overseas journalists being detained at protests have been denied by authorities.
China has always welcomed foreign journalists to conduct reporting activities in China, in accordance with relevant laws and regulations, and has done a lot to facilitate their reporting and provide convenience for them. At the same time, while conducting reporting activities in China, foreign journalists need to consciously follow Chinese laws and regulations.
There have also been demonstrations in Guangzhou, Chengdu and Hong Kong, and in other countries too. A large crowd gathering outside the Chinese embassy in London, and another in the Japanese capital of Tokyo. The diaspora determined to make their voices heard. Francis Collings, TRT World.